From the Fans Talk Wrestling family at fanstalkwrestling.com, this is episode 13 of Fans Talk Lucha. It covers Lucha Underground Season 1, Episode 23, which aired on April 15th, 2015. My name is Garvin, and once again, I am joined by my wife. Say hello, wife.
Hello, wife.
Your voice sounds much better this week.
I disagree. I miss my sexy cold voice, but here I am. I feel better.
Fans Talk Lucha is a podcast series that is brought to you exclusively by the paid members of the FTW community, and you can head on over to fanstalklucha.com for more about us, how to get involved, and the full archive. All right, so some quick shout-outs as we open up. First of all, thank you for the likes on YouTube and SoundCloud, and thanks for giving us a chance and joining in on the Lucha Underground conversation. There aren't many places to go online to talk Lucha Underground, but I'm glad we found a place here to talk together. Thanks to Diva Jill, Give Lucha a Chance, DJ Clean Styles, Stony Guerrero, The Shippy, Solo M81, and Beanbags once again for joining us in the comments on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, we got quite a few messages about some things that we talked about last week. So quick clarification, Vato, not Bato, okay, means man or dude. It's very informal, so it's kind of like a slang term. So I think I was mostly correct in the context of what was being said.
You were. I was totally wrong. I thought it meant boat.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for everyone for helping us crackers, try and figure out how to understand this language.
Is it us crackers or we crackers?
Helping us crackers out.
Fabulous.
It's us. Yeah, it's us. Okay. So, obviously we are still learning, English as well. And, looks like we missed the fact that Vampiro has always been pretty much anti-Conan, from the get-go. Diva Joe was pointing that out. And regardless, it was never as harsh as it was last week. And that continued this week. So let's jump right into what happened this week. We started off on the roof of the Lucha Underground temple. Cueto interrupted Aerostar. Aerostar was gazing into the stars, and Cueto almost questioned why he would, find his inspiration up there, considering that Drago was the opposite. Drago was finding his inspiration, almost like from the demons, from the underworld, and, that Drago is not going to stop at anything to win tonight.
Isn't Boyle Heights part of Los Angeles?
It's a suburb.
So can you see the stars from the roof of the Lucha Underground building? Because we have a lot of light pollution and we live in a crappy city.
Yeah, I opened it up on Google Maps, actually, a few weeks back, and I thought for sure it was like within a half an hour drive.
So they would face the same problem we would, really.
Yeah. I mean, he would see some stars, I would imagine.
I don't know. It just seemed a little weird to me.
So, I mean, that seemed weird to you, not the fact that they were on the roof in the first place?
Not at all weird to me. Nope.
Okay. So we had our first match. It was King Cuerno, Tejano, and they call him Cage. I guess I think we should just start calling him that because it's not Cage. They call him Cage.
When they introduced him, they said the man they call Cage. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Garvin, but I thought that he wasn't a man, he was a machine.
I think we have to go back and watch this, because I don't remember her saying that. I thought Melissa Santos said specifically they call him Cage, not the man they call Cage.
Regardless.
I think that might have been like a Vampiro thing.
Make up your minds. Lucha Underground, is he a man, or is he a machine, or is he a cage? Let's settle this. Yeah,
in the like, there's like a Venn diagram type thing, like, I think it's they call him Cage. That's what we're gonna say from now on, I think. But let's go back. Let's go back and verify this before we totally commit. So, anyways, the three-way versus Mundo, Hernandez, and Puma. This is a main event quality match. First round of the trios tournament, and so I was surprised. I was surprised that this started off the show, but I was surprised that we got this match so quickly. But overall, what was your thoughts on this?
I was surprised that I liked it this much. I have a hard time. You might be able to tell at this point in the show that I have a hard time focusing on things. I have a very short attention span. So when you throw 6 guys in a ring, to me that is just almost impossible to watch. It is hard to focus on. But this was so beautifully done. I mean, I thought I had seen matches before with that many guys in a ring, and I knew I didn't like them. But this was choreographed in such an unusual way. Everyone got their time. There were moments when they really made the multiple guy thing work for them. There was a beautiful moment where Cage is backed into a corner, and all three guys would just hit him every few seconds. They would run around the ring and just slam him some way. And I'd never seen anything like that before. And I really enjoyed watching the match. I didn't think I would going into it, but it was a great, entertaining match. And it was even easy for a simpleton like me to follow.
You know, there's a term for a match like this, at least when they started getting to that rapid fire thing where it's big move after big move after big move. It's called a spot fest, but that's usually to end the match. You know, this was like halfway through. That's all they're doing. It was move after move after
fantastic.
move. Everyone was getting involved. It was like your fireworks, grand finale, except for it lasted for a full 15 minutes. That's how awesome it was to see everything.
And last week you and I were like, how can anyone take out Cage? He's such a big guy and he's also so light on his feet. That's the way you take out Cage. You don't let him have a chance to recover. Like, that was really, really good strategy. Yeah,
so both of these teams worked very well together. Best crowd reaction I think that we've gotten since the series started with Lucha Underground. I think, like, overall, the crowd was into every single piece of this. Every time a move was hit, the crowd was on their feet, cheering. So, we did see, it ended with Cuerno Tejano and they call him Cage, winning. It required them to cheat, but I'm okay with that just because, you know, to me, this was my favorite team going in after they made the announcement that this was the team. But to get over, Hernandez, Mundo, and Puma as your champion, who has wins over, you know, Cage and, Cuerno. I mean, to me, it was okay.
Explain how this was cheating to me, because I didn't follow.
The Tejano had the rope wrapped around his fist.
Is that bad?
Yeah, that's illegal. That's an illegal weapon. He had the rope around his fist and he smashed Puma in the head with it, which caused Puma to reel back, and then Cuerno hit him with his finisher.
I guess I feel like if the ref doesn't see it, it's fair game.
Well, that's what the wrestlers think. Yeah.
Well. Okay. So it's me and the wrestlers against you, I guess.
You and the Rudos, you know. The other important note here was that, former WWE and TNA star Daivari was in the front row, and he was in the front row for pretty much the entire card. They would show him every 5 to 10 minutes. They would just show him a shot where he was texting on his phone. Drinking.
He was playing the Lucha Underground drinking game.
Or cheering. Or, you know, just verbally going after whoever was on the outside. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's there for a specific reason, like if they're going to bring him in, or if he was just visiting to watch the show.
Yeah.
It was not clear.
It's interesting. It would be a nice pickup for them. They're starting to run out of room, though, I think. I feel like Lucha Underground is starting to get too full.
Dun, dun, dun. What if we lose someone?
Well, yes. That's foreshadowing. We'll get to that in a second. So when this match ended, Cueto came out of his office, congratulated Cage, Tejano, and Cuerno, and said, you know, that he believed that they were going to be the team to beat. But he's not just going to let them waltz into the main event next week or whenever that finals match is. He's going to book them into a triple threat match tonight. So one of them has to move on to take on someone from each of the other two teams. So we got they call him Cage versus the Mac versus Son of Havoc.
This totally gave me high school PTSD because it reminded me of that panic you have when the teacher stands up and says, we're going to have board races today. And then she calls your name and you go stand up there and you're looking at the classroom and you're like, oh no. Who is my opponent going to be? And you have no idea, and you know that you didn't study, and you didn't do your homework, and now suddenly you're put on the spot against people who are fantastic at what they're going to do. That's what this made me think of.
Can you go into brief detail of what a board race is?
Are you even kidding me right now?
Well, because I might have called it something different.
He went to Catholic school. Did you call it Jesus races?
No, I don't remember. Tell me what it is, and I'll let you know what.
You go up to the board and the teacher gives you some kind of problem, usually a math problem, but not always. Sometimes it's a complicated spelling word or it's diagramming a sentence. And then they'll go and you have to race the other person. Not only do you have to beat them, but you have to get the right answer. I was always super fast, but my answers did not always, I didn't get points for accuracy. So board races and this surprise.
You're standing at the chalkboard?
Oh, at the chalkboard, yeah. And back in my day, we had chalkboards, not marker boards.
Yeah. Chalkboard, and then you had to write the answer.
Yeah.
Just one answer, and then you sat down?
Well, sometimes if you tied, you'd have to do it again.
Yeah, see,
it's terrible.
I briefly remember that, and it was like the first person to put the chalk down on the tray.
Oh, that sounds dangerous. We would have been slinging chalk.
Yeah, but we played
Public school's a little more rough than Catholic school.
We played something else more often, and that was like you had a bell on a stool, and two people stood behind. Like what is that? The Family Feud when that first opening round where they have to stand with a bell in between each other and like hit the bell, hit the little.
We
thing.
did that once, but someone got punched. So.
Oh yeah, there was lots of slapping and stuff.
No, I mean like in the face.
Oh well. That seems...
it was excessive, yes.
Yeah, all right, well, anyways. So Cage versus the Mac versus Havoc. And if the first match wasn't amazing enough, this by far was an absolutely fantastic match, I thought. Every single one of these guys, like, pulled out all of the stops to put on a great match. Son of Havoc did something I don't think I've ever seen, and that was he went for a pin on Cage. Cage threw him in the air. You know, like we see this a lot with larger guys showing their strength by throwing the guy off of them.
They play airplane like you do with a little kid.
But dude, Havoc spun in midair and then locked on an armbar right there. Followed that with I want to watch this match again because this whole scenario was just epic. So followed that, the Mac basically landed a splash onto Havoc, then did a backflip kip up thing.
That was incredible.
But usually you see their backs like flat on the ground, and then they kip up. His neck and shoulders were on top of Havoc, so he did the kip up and then a standing moonsault. This is Mac. Mac did that.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Usually you can tell people are getting ready to do that sort of thing, bracing themselves. He just went right into it like it was nothing.
It was like no stop. It was just rapid.
Mac might be my new favorite. He surprises me. He doesn't look like he'd be as athletic as he was, but you're right. This was a fantastic match. Everyone was physically so well matched. All three of these people are guys who don't look like they would be good flyers. They look like they'd be slow, lumbering bears, but they're just... Every week it seems like they get better. It was fun to watch.
And you've got, you know, and this is something that both Stryker and Vampiro were talking about. You know, these are three guys that are not native Lucha Libre people.
No.
I mean, they are from out of Mexico and are able to work the same styles just as well. So
even with the physical impediment of being such large men, all three of them.
And, you know, and Cage also got in the act. Son of Havoc dove at him with a suicide dive through the ropes, and Cage caught him into a vertical suplex onto the outside.
He's just a beast.
Yeah, there was just so much good stuff in this match. So by far, if you haven't watched Lucha Libre yet, if you're just listening to us because you listen to the main FTW podcast, or I don't know why you would listen to us if you haven't watched Lucha Libre, but please go back and check out this match. Find it online if you can. It was fantastic. All right, so backstage, Cueto bumps into Drago in the bathroom.
This is something you're familiar with.
I love the fact that it's realistic. It's a realistic, you know, scenario where Cueto just happens to open up the stall door. He's walking out, putting his belt back on, looking at his hands like really, like, do I have to wash this?
Then he saw Drago and he knew he had to.
Happened to be standing there. And then he basically goes to Drago with the same shtick that he gave to Aerostar on the roof, was basically, you know, questioning whether or not Drago had it in him to defeat Aerostar.
He's such a great boss. He always goes out of his way to pep talk his employees. And, I love the look on Drago's face, what we could see of it. No one likes to be hassled by their boss in the bathroom. Like, he looked as uncomfortable as that scene was.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about this to me is that just a few weeks ago, we'd complained about the non-realistic interruptions that they'd been doing. And you mentioned a bathroom interruption. And here we are getting what we asked for.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that made this like super weird was the fact that like after this talk, Cueto left, Drago like let his tongue like slowly fall out of his mouth.
That is so unsanitary.
And back in the bathroom. Like, no, dude.
Also, he goes to the bathroom in full mask.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't. Let's just move on.
In the ring, Pentagon Jr. is out with Melissa Santos. And he basically instructs Melissa Santos to say something. She does, and what she said was that Pentagon Jr. was going to offer his next sacrifice to his master. No one knows what that means. She goes to walk away, and he attacks her. And it was actually a really well done segment in the sense that Melissa Santos like held her ground and fought him off for the most part.
Well,
didn't look like a damsel in distress.
I'm going to disagree a little. Just a little. I thought she did a little of that flailing girl stuff that we know so well.
Sure. I mean,
I kind of would have liked for her, because I like her a lot. I kind of would have liked for her to just have gotten one good nut shot in.
But
that would have been satisfying. No, she's not a wrestler.
She's not a wrestler. So to me, this was an okay setting. And I'm comparing this to, similar settings that we've seen in WWE or TNA where the announcers or the refs, male or female, they're all basically damsel in distress in that setting where they're being attacked and they don't even really try to fight back. But she fought back. She was hitting him in the face.
She did a nice job of trying to get the heck out of the ring.
So he went to break her arm. Vampiro stood up, which I thought was interesting.
Awfully slowly. He was kind of like my dad, getting to his feet, like making sure his back wasn't going to pop.
He's like, I'm not going to stand for this. Stands up.
But then he stood for it, literally.
And then at least 20 seconds went by.
He just stood there.
Just standing there.
He did take his headphones off, which that's like throwing down the gauntlet right there.
Yeah, and then Sexy Star came out, made the save, saved Melissa Santos. So yeah, really interesting that they are building up that feud, which I think is probably one of the best stories going on right now, just because of where it may or may not be leading. Like, I'm really excited that this is going to be a good match between the two. Yeah. So, but that led us into the main event, Aerostar versus Drago, the final match in the best of 5 series. The winner of this gets to win or earn that unique opportunity that Cueto was offering. Melissa Santos was not here, so Cueto was the one doing the ring announcements. Very interesting.
He was like a fangirl. He stood on the side the whole time and he was clapping and laughing and smiling.
He knew that this was going to be a brutal match. He wanted to stand there and watch this, and he was almost giddy anytime that they would do something that was brutal to the other. The table spot. I think Cueto showed more emotion and liked it more than the fans did.
He really did. He looked like he was having a great time out there. That was gratifying.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a slow match. There was some high flying, but they were really showing how much they've taken out of each other in their other matches.
They were both limping like old men towards the end, but that was good because it opened up their mat game and we got to see some cool mat work out of the two of them.
Yeah, it told a great story, and overall, this whole thing has been a good story. The problem that we had a few weeks back was that this match wasn't isolated. It was, put on a card that had so much other great stuff happening that it was almost like a tertiary thing. This week, even though they had the main event, it still kind of felt that way because those first 2 matches were so great and this was such a different pace. And it wasn't as, it didn't have all the high impact stuff and it didn't have all the flashy stuff.
No, it was kind of like a cool down match, really.
But that's okay because it was the final match in their series. So yeah, overall, Drago won. Drago's unique opportunity that he earned was that he got a title shot versus Puma potentially next week. He didn't really specify when it was going to be. I imagine it might be next week or the week after, depending if Cueto wants to give Drago the opportunity to heal up.
Sure, but there's a catch to this title shot.
The catch is that if Drago loses, then he will be banned from the temple. So basically, it's a title versus career match. And what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts about this unique opportunity?
Well, I think it could go either way. Puma's held the title for a while, so this would be a good time to transfer hands. On the other hand, if Drago's thinking of rebranding himself, it would be a good opportunity for Drago to leave, but for his new character to come on in. I have 50-50 on this one for me.
I don't see that happening just because they just did something similar with Superfly. So for them to, have someone have to potentially change their character again to come back is kind of odd. And just consider like where Drago is. He just won a best of 5 series. He just was in your main event. So I can't see Drago losing, but I also can't see him winning the title.
Well, this would be a good time for the title to change hands. So he's held on to it since the beginning. So this could be a good chance. On the other hand, maybe Drago, if he didn't win, maybe it's not because he's going to rebrand. Maybe he's got something going on in his personal life and he needs to step back for a few weeks. That happens.
Potentially. But do you see Drago as being championship quality?
I don't think they've built him to be that, but he didn't specify when this match was. So if he's going to win, there's a potential that they could drag this out to the end of the first series and really build him to be a good contender. This doesn't have to happen next week.
That is true. I mean, this was episode 23. I think there's 39 in the first season. So I mean, that's kind of a large gap. I mean, you're talking another 16 episodes.
God, I feel like you've just put me in a board race again.
So I mean, that's 16 episodes left to drag that out. I can't see them dragging out. But again, I mean, it was a title match, but you can win a title match without winning the title. Maybe he wins via disqualification. Maybe Aerostar comes out and attacks Drago, or maybe,
why would he do that though? I mean, the end of this last match, they were hugging and shaking hands and it was very respectful.
It doesn't make sense on one hand, but on the other hand, Aerostar got the short end of the stick of that, and maybe he would be jealous. I don't know. I'm just throwing out other options. I don't know if I want to see Drago win the title, but I don't want to see him lose. I can still see him win via different, methods, be it maybe a count out, maybe a disqualification. I don't know.
I think we're jumping the gun. Until we know when the match is, it's hard to say where it's going.
True. Hopefully it's not next week. I mean, that'll give us some time to think about it at least. All right. So let's, what was your win of the week?
I really liked that first match. That was something that I did not expect to like. So when I did, my standards were low and I was very pleased.
This was a wonderful wrestling event. I'm with you. Not just the first match, but the second match as well. And realistically, the fact that we had a best of 5 series, we saw the finale this week. That's good stuff. So overall, win of the week is just the wrestling content that we get from Lucha Underground. Fails. What was your fail of the week?
Vampiro's slow walk to the ring to save Melissa. I understand that he needed to be out of the way because they didn't want him to get pegged in the head by Sexy Star, but instead of just standing there looking kind of dumbfounded, maybe he could have encountered an obstacle or something that would have legitimately kept him away from the ring, aside from just standing there messing with his headphones. It was just awkward.
Yeah. No, it was awkward.
Like he was almost enjoying watching her get beat up, but that's not his character. I don't think that he would enjoy that, but that's how it looked when he just stood there and watched it.
Yeah, I mean, from a storyline perspective, though, I mean, like realistically, Vampiro is retired. He's not a wrestler anymore. Like, what is he gonna do? Yes, he could go in the ring to save Melissa Santos from getting her arm broken. He could totally
have pulled a Chavo and smashed Pentagon with a chair.
But then he's in that spot. Does he really want to be in that spot?
Yeah, he doesn't have to wrestle. He can announce with the broken arm.
Oh, man.
Man up, Vampiro.
My fail of the week is going to go to the fact that Lucha Underground is less than an hour long. I mean, if you look at overall content, you get about 45 minutes. That is not enough. I need at least like another half hour. I always walk away wanting more, which is good.
That's good.
But I never feel completely satisfied. Like, I feel like I just need something else.
You need lucha dessert.
Yeah, like Give us an overrun. Give us, something else, a second quick show, recap show or something. I mean, I need more content.
I understand that, but on the flip side, you have the problem, you don't want it to turn into a Raw, where every week I'm like, how many hours is Raw? And you tell me it's 3 hours, and I go, oh God, why?
No,
like,
we don't. No, we don't need.
You don't want
hours.
that.
An hour and a half, though, that would be okay. I could live with that.
I would be afraid if they did that, how much filler they'd stick in it, though. I understand you. I feel like it's a short show, but it is all content.
Yeah. All right. So for next week, it sounded like the Trios Championship would be on the line. So we've got 3 teams left right now. So if the Trios Championship is next week, or, regardless of when it is, it's going to be a triple threat match. Cuerno, Tejano, and Cage versus Havoc, Ivelisse, and Angelico versus Big Rick, Mac, and Killshot. Who you got? Predictions?
No idea.
You had a week to think about it. You had a week to watch some Murder, She Wrote and formulate some picks.
I didn't watch any Murder, She Wrote. Well, it's easy to say that I see shenanigans coming out of the Son of Havoc, Angelico.
Yeah, I can't see them winning. That I've canceled
They're
them
like
out
our
of my list.
comedy option. It's difficult because we just watched Cuerno, Tejano, and Cage, and I feel like we've been removed from Big Rick's tag team, so it's hard for me after seeing the first tag team twice and only seeing Big Rick's tag team once. It's hard for me to say.
But we saw Mac. We saw Mac this week.
We did see Mac. I don't know. It's a tough call.
I'm going to go with Cuerno, Tejano, and Cage. I'm going to go with my original pick. I think this is the team to beat. Mac, though, is freaking awesome.
He is.
And, I don't know. So I have a hard time going with that, but I think, moving forward, that's your feud. Your feud moving forward is the family versus Cuerno, Tejano, and Cage. So, that's going to be some awesome matches coming up. Sexy Star versus Pentagon Jr. is a possibility.
Probability. Very big.
Yeah. As is Puma versus Drago in a title versus career match. Any final? Well, actually, let's do a quick Ask FTW. This is from @ProjHorrorMovie, the Horror Movie Project on Twitter. He asked, after this week's Lucha Underground, I can see Pentagon Jr. working behind the scenes with Derek Cueto to get a title match. Pentagon beats Puma. Do you see that happening sooner than later?
I don't know that I see it happening sooner, but that is an interesting way they could go. And Dario has talked to everyone behind the scenes, and so you're right. It is kind of a matter of
Pentagon.
Yeah, it's a matter of time before he zeroes back in on him because he's got the bloodlust.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see this happening.
I can see it,
but I think there's a backstory that hasn't been told yet. We don't know who that master is. That master may or may not be related to the other story that we've gotten as far as with El Dragon Azteca. Was that his name? El Dragon? I can't recall.
Don't know. The dude that they keep hiding.
Yes. And the mysterious woman. So I mean, there's that whole thing. The guy in the cell upstairs. I mean, there's a lot of different stuff going on, a lot of mysterious stuff going on. So I would almost say that this might be the case, but Dario Cueto might be the master anyways, or the guy that is in that cell might be I mean, who knows, really?
There's so many possibilities.
But yes,
That's fun.
Pentagon Jr. needs to be in that title race at some point, and hopefully in the first season.
I hope so, because the arm breaking thing it's a good kick right now, but that's going to get old very quickly if they don't do something else with him.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd is completely behind Pentagon Jr. I think this feud with Sexy Star is only going to make that more important. So, yeah. All right. Final thoughts? Okay. So, for more about us, you can check out fanstalklucha.com. Also, please, just if you can, drop a few dollars our way as we continue to work towards our goal at making the fanstalkwrestling.com podcast family pay for itself. So let's keep this conversation going. You can reach us on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, YouTube, as well as the comments on the site. All of that information is over on fanstalklucha.com. And leave a rating and review if you listen on iTunes or Stitcher or anything else that allows you to do stuff like that. Definitely leave a like on YouTube. Help us reach the top of the listing, as really, this is the only active Lucha Underground exclusive podcast series that's out there. So there's a few that dabble into it, but they're not as into it as you and us.
Harsh words.
Hey, I went there. So help us spread the word. Let people know that this is where they should be talking Lucha Underground. Adios.
Those dilettantes and those other podcasts.